Now we are going to start with the human digestive system. As you already know, like we have two modes of nutrition, one is autotroph, other is heterotroph. So out of that, man is in heterotroph. Heterotroph means he cannot prepare its own food. The man cannot prepare its own food, depends upon autotroph directly or indirectly. And if we talk about the sub mode of heterotroph, that how it obtain nutrition, so it shows actually holozoic mode of nutrition. It shows actually holozoic mode of nutrition, and we have already discussed that holozoic mode consists of ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. So these are the following steps what a man performs during the digestion of the food. So we are going to start with the detailed study of the digestive system now. So what happened actually is the digestive system of man consists of two parts. It is being divided into two parts. One is an alimentary canal, and the other is the associated glands. That means the glands which are associated with the canal. So we will first study these parts, we will first study the physiology, and then we will first we will study that how the structures are arranged, and then we will study the physiology, that means the working of the digestive system. So first we will start with alimentary canal. What is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is actually a 9-meter long tube. It is a 9-meter long tube which starts from mouth and goes like this and end up at anus. It is 9-meter long tube. So I am just going to sum up the organs in order. So first we have is the buccal cavity. We call mouth as buccal cavity, okay. The technical term which is used for the mouth is the buccal cavity. It leads into a esophagus. This you can see that this pipe, which further leads into stomach, which further leads into small intestine, which further leads into large intestine, and finally we have is anus. You can see here, this is buccal cavity, this tube is esophagus, this is stomach, this coiled one is small intestine, this wide one is large intestine, and this is the anus. So this is the alimentary canal. So what we see is esophagus, the other name for esophagus is food pipe. Esophagus is also called as food pipe. And if we talk about the stomach, that how stomach look like, it is actually J shaped. You can see actually it appears to be J like. J is like this, so it appears to be like this, J shaped. And small intestine is this, out of 9 meter, 4.5 to 5 meter is the small intestine. You can see that longest part of the alimentary canal is the small intestine. Though the name appear to be small, but actually it is not small. It is 4.5 to 5 meter long. So that means when we talk about small intestine, it is very long and highly coiled. And as you can see that it appears to be highly coiled like this. And so what we do is we divide small intestine into 3 parts, like we have this kind of tube. So let's say that this is a coiled tube. So we divide the first part into another part, we give a specific name to the middle one and give a specific name to the third one. So the first part of the small intestine is called as duodenum, the middle one is jejunum, and the last one is the ileum. So these are the 3 parts of the small intestine, this coiled one which is present here. So though I think you got it, that though the name is small, but actually it's not small, it is the longest part of the alimentary canal, which is 4.5 to 5 meters long actually. And now coming to large intestine. Large intestine is short but wide. You can see that this one is actually a large intestine. Again, it is being divided into 3 parts. The first part is called as cecum, the middle one is called as colon, and the third part is called as rectum. Like this is cecum, then colon, this is rectum, and then finally the anus. Then we have is the anus. So this is actually the part of the alimentary canal. I think you got it. That alimentary canal is actually a 9 meter long tube starting from the buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine comprising of duodenum, jejunum, ileum, large intestine comprising of cecum, colon and rectum, and finally we have is the anus. So this is what is an alimentary canal. Now Coming to the glands which are associated with it. So we see that there are different glands which are associated, and we have already discussed that we have two kinds of glands basically in body. One is exocrine and endocrine. Endocrine glands are concerned with the secretion of the hormones. So we won't be doing this here. And exocrine glands are concerned with the secretion of the enzymes. So we'll be covering the exocrine glands here. So the first gland which occur in the body, I'm just doing these I'm just trying to sum up these glands in order they are present. So the first gland is the salivary gland. The first gland is the salivary gland which is present in the mouth. You can see that this is the salivary gland. These are the salivary glands. There are the specific names for the salivary glands. They are not the single gland. It is of three types. It is maxillary, submaxillary, and sublingual. These are actually the name of the salivary glands which are present. You can see that it is present near ear, it is present below tongue. So this is what is the salivary gland. Now if we talk about the secretion, that what they actually produce is, so we see that salivary gland produce saliva. Salivary gland produce saliva. And what does saliva contain actually? It contains an enzyme, salivary amylase. It contains an enzyme, salivary amylase. And you know that what is the function of this enzyme? This enzyme actually acts on the sugar which is taken in the form of sucrose and help in converting it into, it acts on starch, what you take in the form, like it is a form of carbohydrate which you take. So amylase convert all the starch into maltose. So this is the functioning of the salivary amylase. So whatever food we eat, it converts the starch present in it into the simpler form, that is the maltose. It is not the simplest form actually, but still it is a simple form. So this is the first gland, the functioning of the first gland. The second gland which is present in sequence is a gastric gland. Is the gastric gland. Where this gland is present? This is present in the stomach wall. It is present in the stomach wall. So I'll write here, it is present in the stomach wall. What does it secrete now? It secretes gastric juices. It secretes gastric juices. Gastric juices, as the name suggests, is not a single juice. It comprises of many, you can say, enzymes which are present in sequence. So what happened? The main gastric juice is the pepsin. The main gastric juice is the pepsin, and the function of this pepsin is to convert all the proteins present in a diet into peptones. Again, it is not a simple product of proteins. We are just going to, you can say, further oxidize into more simpler ones. So it is the first simple form. So pepsin convert protein into peptones. But there is one problem, that pepsin do not function in a normal neutral medium. It function in an acidic medium. So before the secretion of pepsin, what is secreted in the stomach? HCl is secreted. So what is the function of HCl? To provide acidic medium to pepsin, and moreover it kills microorganisms also. So what is the function of HCl? It provides acidic medium for the functioning of the pepsin, and secondly it kills the microorganism if some is present in the food, along with the food. But we know that acids are corrosive in nature. So how can you imagine that HCl being secreted in stomach and you are not affected? It is not like that. So what happened? In order to avoid the you can say a corrosive sensation, before the secretion of HCl there is a layer secreted which is very slimy, that is the mucus. Mucus is a slimy layer which lined the stomach wall first. So I'll just explain you again. See, gastric juices are secreted in the stomach. So what happened? The mucus layer is the mate which covered the inner lining of, which forms the inner lining of the stomach, and then in that presence HCl is secreted which kill microorganisms and provide acidic medium for the functioning of pepsin, and then pepsin start converting proteins into peptones. And there is one more enzyme which is present in a gastric juice, that is renin. It coagulates milk, or you can say it converts casein into curd. It converts casein into curd. So this is what is a second gland, that is the gastric gland. The third gland present in a body in sequence is liver. As you know that liver is the largest gland of a body. We all know that liver is this is the liver. It is the largest gland in a body. What does liver actually secretes? Liver secretes bile juice. Liver secretes bile juice, and what does bile juice formed of? It is formed of salts and pigments. It is formed of salts and pigments. They actually not really directly participate in the digestion. They just emulsify the fats. Their main function is to emulsify fat. Must be thinking that what do we mean by emulsification, or what is emulsify? That means breaking down bigger droplet of fat into the smaller ones. So it tries to emulsify fat. And you know that see, this is a liver, and this structure, this one is a gallbladder. Gallbladder is actually a small structure present in the liver. So whatever bile juice is secreted, that is temporarily stored in the gallbladder. That is temporarily stored. All the bile juice which is being secreted here by liver, it is temporarily stored in the gallbladder, and then through gallbladder it goes where it is required. Right. So this is what is a liver. So the next gland we have is the pancreas. We already discussed in the hormonal chapter that pancreas is the only gland which is exocrine as well as endocrine. We have already done its endocrine function. Now we are going to look at its exocrine function. So what enzyme it secretes? It secretes pancreatic juices. It secretes pancreatic juices. So what are pancreatic juices? That is amylase, trypsin and lipase. These are the three juices which comprises the pancreatic juice, and you know that what is the function again? Amylase is, the function of amylase is same like that of salivary amylase, that is it converts the starch which is left over into maltose. Trypsin act on the proteins, the simple proteins. We know that proteins is being already converted into peptones. So trypsin try to convert peptones further into the simpler substance, that is the peptides. And lipase, what does lipase do? Lipase convert the emulsified fat into fatty acid and glycerol. Don't think that digestion ends here. Actually they are just trying to convert into simpler substance, but they are not the simplest substance. These are not those forms in which our body cells know how to absorb. They are actually converted more into more simpler forms. So that will be doing. So we have the final enzyme which is going to end up the digestion. That the gland is the intestinal gland. That is the intestinal gland. It is present, it is actually a last part of ileum, the small intestine. We can say that intestinal gland is present in the ileum, that is the last part. So what enzymes actually it secretes? I am going to write it here. Ileum secrete erypsin. It secretes again this thing lipase. It secretes maltase. So these are the enzymes, actually the important enzymes which is being secreted by the intestinal gland, that is the ileum. So the intestinal gland actually secrete an intestinal juice which is actually a mixture of many enzymes. Out of these, the three important enzymes have been written here. So what does erypsin do? They just end up the digestion. How? They convert all the simpler fats which is being converted already into peptones into which is being already converted into peptides. This into amino acids, and lipase converts all the fat, emulsified fat again into fatty acid and glycerol, and maltase convert all the maltose into glucose and fructose. So this is what is the intestinal juice, what's doing for us. So I think you got it, that we have these important associated glands which are associated with the alimentary canal. The salivary gland, that is maxillary, submaxillary, sublingual, secreting the salivary amylase which is acting on the starch, converting into maltose. Then gastric gland present in the stomach wall, secreting gastric juices. We have 4 mucus which will form the inner lining, HCl which is going to provide an acidic medium and kill microorganism. The third is the pepsin which is going to convert protein into peptones, and renin which is going to convert casein into curd, or you can say it coagulates milk. Third, we have the largest gland, that is the liver. It is not directly involved in the digestion as it secretes only bile juice that comprises of salt and pigments, and it is going to emulsify fats. Pancreas, again the exocrine part of the pancreas is the pancreatic juice. So it secretes amylase, trypsin, lipase. Amylase again converting starch into maltose, trypsin, peptones into peptides, lipase, fats into fatty acid and glycerol. And last we have the intestinal juice, which are going to end up the digestion, converting the that is the trypsin convert all the peptides into amino acids, lipase all the fat into fatty acid and glycerol, and finally maltase all the maltose sugar into glucose and fructose. So this is what is in alimentary canal and associated glands. Now we are going to start up its physiology, and I am just going to sum up these steps so that you should know that because we have already know now what is the alimentary canal, what are the organs involved, what are the glands and what are the functions of the enzymes. So now we are just going to club them up, because if you learn them separately and then you will club them up, then you will be having a thorough knowledge. So this is what I am trying to do here. So I am just going to start with the physiology. Physiology means the working of the digestive system. So first of all, what you do is just try to learn the alimentary canal, write it down, then learn the associated glands with their enzymes and function, write it down, and then move on to the physiology. So it is the best, you can say, best method to learn a long answer like that, then you will have a thorough knowledge.